Hi, welcome everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone that you're in on this beautiful, beautiful planet on this beautiful day. I hope everyone is keeping well. And I see Mr. Ricketts with us there, looking very, very formal, and he's very welcome. Everybody's saluting you, sir, and thank you for joining us. It's a wonderful honor to have you on our Top Gun Academy. I see next to you is Andrea, who was on our one of our episodes there recently. So we've really got the best of the best on the Top Gun Academy, and I love that film. You know, the Top Gun Academy. There's one scene in it, and all the guys are sitting in, and you are the best of the best. We're going to make you better, and that's our goal here, is to make you guys better. So there's nobody better to learn from. You know, people who have done it, who have proven with their track records, and over the years, I can think of no better man to give us some education on this amazing industry that we are in, but also to convey to us the vision of our company and the great mission that we are on. And it's with great pleasure, you know, today that I welcome our CEO, Cloud Horizon, really the gentleman who is behind the scenes and, you know, just doing everything that's necessary to make this great project to realize the success that all of us are so hungry for and so dedicated to achieving. So without any further ado, I'd like to welcome Mr. Frank Ricketts. And Frank, wonderful to have you, and thank you for taking the time to be with us on this Sunday today.
Thank you very much, Peter, and thank you to all of you on this long weekend. In most European countries, Monday's a bank holiday. So it's great to see so many of you here today, and thanks for the invitation. I don't know how much the invitation is going to cost me, but thanks anyway.
Oh, just a few starters will be fine, Frank. Yeah, that'll be okay. We'll cover that. We'll have a beer together and we'll talk about it. When we get together again. Thank you so much, Frank. We have a sort of an informal, you know, format on this on this platform where we learn from each other, and maybe just to, you know, to kick off, you could just, you know, from your perspective, from the company perspective, you know, just bring us up to date on what you feel that we need to know, and then we can sort of get into other, you know, topics maybe in some more detail. So I'll just, you know, hand it over to you in an open forum, basically.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Again, hi to everyone, and again, thanks for participating in this call. I do know that it's been live streamed also in Facebook. So here's a message for everyone. Well, I don't want to go into history so much, because we live in the present and we live for the future. And I believe, you know, history is important, because history is what gets us to where we are right now. And the history of Cloud Horizon Network Marketing, which started on the 18th of December 2018, was certainly eventful in the first 12, 15 months. And we all have learned a lot, and we have all, through mistakes, I believe, been able to recognize them and correct them. And in effect, we had a new start in January this year, on the 7th of January. And 4 weeks later, made quite a lot of enhancements to the whole project as it was foreseen when it was started. One thing that hasn't changed in any way is our mission. Our reason for being is not just to give people an opportunity and to better their financial standing, whether it's part-time for a few €100 or full-time, you know, going into the thousands, which is all related to how much work one puts into it. But, you know, those first 15 months certainly gave us a lot of experience. And through the bump that was hit through the month of December, we had really an awesome opportunity to take that experience over the first 15 months and restructure ourselves, reorganize ourselves. And I can only say that, you know, the 4 or 5 months with the new structure, the new elements within the whole concept have really, really turned out extremely well, especially when we realize that we've been handicapped like everyone else out there, but maybe more so in our particular industry, our business, through the corona epidemic. And I know the first 4 weeks, everyone was in shock. And I think, well, I know as far as our company is concerned, and we look at the numbers and the business turnover, I mean, we came to a complete standstill. The only thing that didn't stop was paying the bills for staff and IT and this and one thing and another. But we had great faith that it was only a momentary, situation. And once people got their heads around the situation, and we see, the last weeks, not only with us in the business, but in private life, that, people have adapted. They've adapted to the situation with social distancing and one thing and another, and have been able to have some time, back towards the business, again, whether it's part-time or full-time. And we've had a hell of a lot of development that we've managed to achieve in these bad times. Still a couple of things that have been delayed, specifically with business partners, corporate level, whether it be new products, whether it be payment solutions or one to another. But even with that said, we've come a long, long way in the last 5 months as we restarted.
No, can absolutely appreciate that, Frank. And when we met in January, well, a lot of we had a leadership retreat in Koh Chang. And at that moment, it was really, okay, how are we going to move forward, set new goals, set new targets, and, put this on the fast track to achieve our goals. And as you say, over the last 4 months, we have adapted. And in the beginning, we had that phase of orientating to the reality that, we were in, and also that the world was in, and all that. So, just maybe give us a little bit more specifics on, what we really have put into place in that short period of time. And just, your point of view. Sometimes in the field, they just like to see results. They want it yesterday. But also, I mean, I know how difficult some things are to achieve, certainly in a situation that we've been through, but also, from your perspective, how that is sort of, played out, over the last 4 months to, bring us up to where we are today.
Yeah. Well, at the end of January, when we all met in Koh Chang, which was a very, very important meeting in general, due to the new start, et cetera, we had some very, very ambitious goals that we presented to you. And believe me, I remember every one of them word for word. And I'm not one to lean out the window and will only announce in public things that I sincerely believe we can achieve. Of course, in Koh Chang, there was nothing really called Corona and in any way, or a pandemic, and without knowing all those things, it's been amazing that we've managed to 90% of everything we presented in Koh Chang, we managed to achieve. And I know we missed some of the dates with about a week, but seriously, a drop in the ocean when one looks at the overall situation. And one of the major things that we presented and said we were going to do in Koh Chang, and actually started, is that we increased the payout and compensation plan to a very good plan. I mean, it was a very good compensation plan even before. But the actual payout, we have increased over 30% on payout. And, we've made it from a financial aspect really an amazing opportunity in our industry, network marketing. A lot of people, though, may not realize, how was that paid? How was that paid? And the reason being, it ties in to how our investment policy was. moving forward. And our investment policy was not, due to circumstances, to carry on investing into the PP5, which to date still have their technical issues and still not producing 1 liter of oil, which we know 100% factual by actually visiting the site very recently. But we have that investment still, and we'll see what happens. But moving forward is that we managed to restructure, you know, how we go around that, making, you know, a more viable and more speed into getting into production. Because when you're investing, you know, 2, 3, 4 million into a project, then that's one project and that's that amount of money, and you still haven't produced 1 liter of oil. You know, it takes so much time to do that. And we knew starting fresh with a new concept or areas of that concept, or aspects, that it would just take too long to actually get those funds together. So the whole investment policy is tied very, very much with social development and how these new projects are put together and how they're financed and get into production of oil so much quicker. Yes, it takes so much time to get that first one up and running, but once that one is done, then, you know, the second one is going to take a portion of that time. The third one, a portion of that second period. And we really get into speed as, you know, income starts going up. So what we did was, seriously, we took a certain amount of the net profit and put it into the comp plan, because it's like swings and roundabouts. It's, you know, do we increase, you know, the earning capacity of each individual, which increases then the earning capacity of the company at the end of the day, with more turnover, more people really, you know, enjoying the business opportunity, which still, in inverted commas, would then give us the same amount of investment overall to then invest into these projects, but with a certain amount of speed. So that is tremendously, you know, a very fundamental part of our whole policy. Secondly was, you know, getting social development off. And I remember the conversations around that and getting it going and, you know, starting to, well, let's start looking for machines and one thing and another. And, you know, people have done, the group, you heard from Jay last week, have done a tremendous job to get us up and running on that. And, you know, we just made the, it all fixed with the location. There's a video went out yesterday, the day before, on the first location that enables us, you know, to put 4, 5, maybe even 6 of the machines that we've selected at this moment in place over the next months. But it all starts with the first one. And the first one, we're talking days now. We're not talking weeks anymore, and certainly not months. We can count the days for that machine being assembled and going into operation. So that's a very important fulfillment of what we said in Co-Chat. Then there's other stuff like, you know, a Covo Media. A Covo Media, we started programming a completely new Covo Media platform in January. And we delivered it, I agree, 5 days later than what we promised. We said we would have it up by the end of April, and I think it was the 2nd or 3rd of May. Sorry, March, going into April. So the Covo Media is there, and we're very, very pleased that our IT, headed from Wayne Dobson, has put the new functionality, the enhanced functionality of actually implementing videos and images into the campaigns. And that seriously is 90% of what a campaign says. It's the pictures, it's the videos. There's a saying in the English language, you know, a picture says more than 1,000 words. Well, you can double that up again with videos. So we've got the first videos and the first images there that can be implemented into the Covo media. So we believe, we're going to get a lot more coverage with people starting to really use the Covo media and get that stuff out. We will. It's not an instant thing. It's something that grows. It gets its own momentum because the ball gets played back and played to left and right and one to another. So there's a great potential increase of numbers there being introduced to what a Covo is all about. And through a Covo, then the opportunity, the business opportunity with Amplivo. So we've managed to do that as well. One of the biggest things, and probably one of the hardest things, which a lot of people may not quite understand, is getting the Cloud Horizons token for the first time ever. That's also a very, very important aspect, is that Cloud Horizon created, and also issues its own token, as against previously with the arrangement with SEPCO and the PP5, where we were entitled to a certain amount of their tokens. So, we have that completely under our control. They are Cloud Horizon tokens, and we got it listed on a complete 100% neutral public exchange. And I'd like to lean out the window, but as I said earlier, when I lean out the window, I do it with quite a lot of backgrounds and substance. No later than the 15th of June, trading will start with the ISF. Even though making that statement is that, seriously, I do not believe there's going to be a market buying, selling, trading until going into autumn, even towards the end of the year. Why? Because it's related directly to production of oil. And in the beginning, we start with the first liter, then it'll be 10, 100, then it'll be 1,000, then it'll be tens of thousands, and going up, going up, going up. And, one thing is being able to trade, but to understand the market and valuation of such. One news I'd like to give in relation to that is that on this public exchange that we managed to get listed on, is that the token has a floor price. And the floor price of the token is the 2 cents, which is the redeeming of the free loyalty points that everyone gets completely free when purchasing anything as a customer, as a follower on the Covo/CCW site. And of course, those who were influencers decided to use the business opportunity in Amplivo, also get these FLPs, obviously, on their earnings in relationship. And when those are redeemed, they can be redeemed if one so wishes, and that redeem rate is set at 2 cents. So again, when trading starts, as I said, I'm saying right now, no later than the 15th of June, there is this floor price of 2 cents. At the same time, and this is very, very important, which was certainly missing in the past, is that not only Socium Development will have its own website, give an explanation to this and background to that and this, but it'll also have transparency showing on a weekly basis, how many kilos of plastic is being eradicated and what oil is being produced. And that's factual. That's going to be open to the public, transparent as you can get it, for everyone to see exactly what's going on from a week-to-week basis. This will be backed up also with videos and a professional cut video, 1 minute, 1.5 minutes once the machine is assembled. So that can also go out with the Covo media, etc., etc. And we will also have, no later than the 15th of June, there will be a Sysnova website. Okay, there will be a Sysnova website with a white paper, okay, explaining the business model and the anticipation and how that's going to be implemented and one from another. Because we also want people, not just the influencers, not just the followers, the customers who also get FLP by purchasing whatever they want to in the shop, because they just want us to do whatever on a Kovo, is that they can then see exactly what is the ISF all about. We want to become so much more transparent than it was last year, okay? This is a global operation. It has a long-term thinking, but at the same time, we need to be transparent. And this is our biggest goal. We have nothing to hide, nowhere. At the same time, I've had requests, well, can I know exactly how much turnover we do on a week-to-week basis? What is the cost of this? How much are you paying for staff? How much do you pay rent for your office? I don't know what else they ask for. Well, obviously, we are a private company and that's intern business. But at the same time, the elements that affect, I say, the general public, and that is social development, and it's certainly the listed, traded token, transparency has to be 100% there. And that is our intention, and it's something that will happen by the 15th of June this year. What else we've done? We've done some enhancements around products, et cetera, but also functionalities specifically on our Covo CCW. As you know, we announced also in Kochang that our goal is to completely rewrite the software for the complete CCW website. And that has started, that process. And with our CTO, Wayne Dobson, and the IT company, decision was made that, we do that piece for piece. And instead of waiting 6 months for a complete new website, we're doing it as we go. And the Covo Media was one of the first things doing that with a landing page, et cetera, et cetera. Relating to Covo, as of yesterday, we have a new product called Covo Subscriptions. And what we've done here is that those who obviously have an Covo Media package, whether it's starter all the way through to platinum, you have such an amount of so many weeks, so many days where the package is active, which means you can change your landing page, send out continuously whatever you want to send out to wherever you want to. When that period finishes, you cannot send out anymore. You can't change anything anymore. You'll still be able to receive, okay, from what you did. But we put a lot of thought into, well, what do you then do after that? And we put a lot of meaning on people really using their Covo Media and getting the word out there. It's a pay forward situation. Sending out a Covo Media is pay forward for all of us. And the return will come week for week, month for month, as we go along. So we decided to introduce a Covo Subscriptions, a Covo Media subscription, which means whatever package you have, whenever it runs out from being active, you can get a 28-day subscription. You can extend it for 4 weeks. And this is costing 49 euros, has 49 BV, and obviously 49 FLP. So whether you have the platinum, the gold, the starter, whatever, you can purchase a 28-day or 3 times 28-day, which is cheaper, or 6 times 28 days, or 12 times 28 days. And it gets cheaper and cheaper, the longer you actually make this subscription. And we believe this is a tremendously fair way and a good way of people, to continuously use their Covo Media without having to go and buy a complete package again. And you can do this on a 28-day or 28-day, whatever period. And we believe there's a lot of flexibility there for everyone. and it's the correct way of doing it. Because, you know, it's not so much the income, it's you know, that's this pay forward again. It's the amount of getting that stuff out and getting return later with members coming in, influencers starting, and new turnover through that. So that has started yesterday. A lot of the Covo meters in alpha version, I think we're on alpha 0.3 at the moment, and we are at least for the next 6 months have a lot of work there, which has to be paid for as we go, and we budget it on a month-to-month basis and select what parts need to be modernized, what parts need have more priority than the other. Just to close that particular thing, I really encourage everyone to really look at a Covo CCW a little bit more than what they do, because there's so much there that a lot of people don't realize they have. You know, it starts with the deals merchant platform that can certainly be used. I think it's only been used not even at 1% of its possibilities for everyone, and maybe one needs to get one's head around that a little bit more. But what we have done, you know, there's the auction side. We've taken away from the auction side electronic products and this and that. Seriously, we had so many challenges for those wanting the products to ship this stuff, get it at the price of what it was advertised at, because it suddenly changes the following day. Really a nightmare, even though I've been around this for nearly 9 years. But we tried to get more synergy between Amplivo and Covo, and this is an exclusive usage agreement between the two websites, i.e. between the two companies. Cloud Horizon, that powers Amplivo. Amplivo.com is a website, it's not a company. The same as Covo is not a company, it's a Covo.com that is powered by SiteTalk Incorporated, okay? So, you know, between those two companies, there's this exclusive usage agreement, and we're trying to get more and more synergy between the two. And the success has proven itself in the last 4 weeks. I mean, the auction platform, but also the tombola has gone through the roof. With people, you know, getting their tombola tickets or actually using their bids on the auction site because they're getting gift codes. And gift codes is all about turnover for everyone, et cetera, and it's very, very easy to deliver. We don't have to buy something and then try and ship it to a country that then charges 40% import tax on it, all those sort of things. A lot of hassle. So we've made our life easy with that, and it was a double whammy because it's really come across very, very well for everyone out there. So that's something else that we've done as we've moved along. The last part, I think, probably one of the toughest things for a global company at a corporate level are payment solutions. And believe me, this is a process that probably started about 5 years ago, if not maybe a bit longer. It is tremendously difficult and challenging to operate and create a new global company when it comes to payment solutions. And payment solutions is a two-way. It's payment solutions in and payment solutions out. And even though it's a two-way situation, they have over the past different regulations for in, different regulations for out, different regulations, territory this, region that, in continental this, continental that, but even countries within Europe. I mean, I think a lot of you, I see, you know, people from around the world here on this call, even with your own banks, with your own money, you know, there's some countries now you can't even go in the bank and pick up your own money if it's more than 1,000 euros. And if you try to move money and you want to pay a bill, you've got to document it and include your DNA in it nowadays. It's really got tremendously hard. And when you take that personal situation with your own bank in your own country and the difficulties of you sending your own money somewhere, just multiply that on a global scale with people from all over the world wanting to buy products, send money in to be able to buy those products, and then those who are influencers working the business to actually, get their commissions out. It's not that easy. And this has been probably one of the biggest tasks ever to do. And we're at the beginning of working with the company Mountain Wolf, who is registered in a number of countries and regions, registered as a financial service company with their licenses as financial service. And they also have their own exchanges, you've also seen, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They have agreements also for supplying and credit cards, the senator and the cash for you. They're with various banks. And again, here, something I'd like to explain on that point. But we believe that we have, well, we don't believe, we know we have a global solution. There's still certain elements still missing due to the corona, which I'll mention very shortly. But we have certainly a system. But like all systems, it's getting one's head around it. And, when you start something new with a new process, a new logistic, it's new for everyone, which means even the leaders and even the top leaders haven't really got their heads around it when you start. And one tries to pre-warn, but only by doing does one really realize, okay, this is how to do it. And, you write it down or you make a screenshot. And then when you're sponsoring, you've got something you can give someone. We try with little videos, but we have an issue with videos. Little videos is that, there's language issues, the different ways we don't explain it in there because it just makes it even more complicated. And what we have to do is really get the leadership. Well, it starts with the sponsor, then the leadership, and then the top leadership. Once they start using it, then it gets taken for granted. This is how it is. We can't do any shortcuts on this. And, in a week, in 2 weeks' time, because like last Saturday, the AML, anti-money laundering, was put into place 100% as against the first 2 weeks. And a lot of people see that as a burden, as a negative, that one has to do another KYC. Well, believe me, if you just come and sat in my chair, you would be going, yeah, because it makes it all so much correct, stable, longer term, and one to another. You cannot run from, I say run is the wrong word, but move, from one bank to the next bank and to this region, and then this region, they don't let you do that anymore, so you have to go to another region. No, we got to build a solid system, a solid logistic of duration. And here, Mountain Wolf started their business, and it took them 9 months. I know of 9 months active activities out there to put together what they have. A hell of a lot of work. Not so much from a software, even though that's quite substantial, but all the agreements and the contracts with these banks and those banks and doing this and doing that. And I may be the only one in Cloud Horizon that really opens up a bottle of champagne when AML is 100% implemented. Because, this is our business. If we can't get money in, we can't give money out. It's that simple. And we want it watertight, as good as you know it today, and hope that it's the same tomorrow. And believe me, the for the speed of the business, etc., there's always initially other ways of getting that done for people to get funds or to get their gift codes, etc. But I really encourage everyone that, get that Mountain Wolf account opened, do the KYC straight away. Some people, they wait 2, 3, 4 weeks, and even without a KYC for getting funds in, all right, just to get them out, and say, well, I'll wait until I need money, and then I'll do my KYC then. And what happens? Yeah, well, they send something in, which is then older than 3 months, or they send in a British driving license, which is about 15 years old, as far as the address is concerned, and all those sort of things. So we just need to get into a systematic and a logistic. And, the thing is, once you've done your KYC, it's easy to do it for a second, a third, or a fourth company. And that's the point that a lot of people are not understanding. It's been about 18 months now, where certainly in Europe, that if you are anyway moving finances, online, physically, etc., you've got to adhere to the AML. You've got to have KYC. And the regulations changed January last year that you cannot import KYCs from a third-party establishment. For example, here you have a Covo and Amplivo, but behind you have the company Cloud Horizon and the company Siteor. They're two independent companies. And before, you could import through an agreement the already approved KYCs from company A, import them into company B. You can't do that anymore because a lot of companies just played the game there and, fake here, fake there, and one to another. So whoever you are dealing with as a third party, they have to have a KYC and they have to go through it and establish their own database. You're not allowed to import anymore. It would be the easiest thing on earth for our IT CTO to put up a platform where everyone did one KYC in that platform and various entities fed into that database and pulled the KYCs out. We would be the first ones who would do it if we could. Because believe me, the amount of work we have and the amount of tickets we have, the amount of frustration we get, given to us from members who are frustrated because they don't get it right first time, second time, even third time, okay? We would avoid all that. But it is how it is, and the quicker we just realize this is how it is, then, the easier it is. So we have a system that certainly works, and it's only as complicated until someone's done it, makes one's notes, and passes it on. One good piece of news, which I gave in the leadership and in the Telegram group, is that the Cash for You credit cards, which Mountain Wolf offer, all cards that have been ordered to date or tomorrow will be shipped on Wednesday. Will go out to everyone. And yes, there's a KYC involved because the card is issued through another entity, a bank that underwrites the card. But the Cash for You cards, they require 48 hours to take your order, and once the payment is there, once the payment has come in, it takes them 48 hours to ship that card out, okay? So that's all happening this Wednesday. Those of you who have Senator cards from previous, when we were through AFASM, who had the contract with Senator cards, they've made an agreement there, and the Senator cards you can also use in relationship to Mountain Wolf. And there's quite a lot of number of people who have the cards and never activated them. because another KYC had to be done. I really encourage everyone, if you already have a card that was good for 3 years, get it activated. And if it's one of the nearly 200 that we still have in the office because they came back, because no one was there to pick it up, or no one went to the post office to pick it up, or whatever, just send in a ticket if you're missing your card, and please talk with your downlines, get it out. I will put a newsletter out on this because I have a list of all those people. They will get an email next week because you can use it in direct relationship to your Mountain Wolf account. So as of Wednesday, those cards will go out and you'll be able to use them in accordance with Mountain Wolf. With that said, Peter, I know there's a lot of dry stuff, and I'd much rather get, networking, but a lot of information here relating to that very simple question that you made.
Yeah. Well, you've covered an awful lot of ground there, Frank, and made my job a lot easier. But you started off there with enhancements that to add that it's not just the enhancements that have made the compensation plan more lucrative, but also the continual promotions that keep coming in as well. And I'd just like to mention that we started off a new cycle of promotions yesterday for the next coming 3 weeks, and I actually still have it up on the board here with the extra free promotional tokens on the packages, and also a little extra on the fast start, with people being allowed to bump up, so to speak, to the next level, whatever level they reach. If they send in a ticket within their fast start window, then the company will bump them up to the next level, or if they've reached all 5 levels, of course, then they've reached all 5 levels. But it's wonderful, the news. And also what was reassuring, for me, and I think also for many of the leaders when we did meet in Koh Chang, that the decision was made to invest all our profits, the net profits, into technology that was working, rather than just pumping money into trying to resolve issues, which is something we hope that they get sorted out. And what we see, I think, is tomorrow. Jay was saying on the call last week that on the 1st of June, we have the keys to the premises where we can go in and start breaking ground and laying the concrete, and having that machine that's already in Thailand moved, to the location and getting everythh up and running. And I love the idea, the philosophy that you guys came up with, and that is to start a pilot, just get 1 or 2 machines established, and then develop that up to maybe 10 machines on one project, and get the capacity up to the industrial scale. And then that, of course, ties in with what you were saying there on the exchange being open, for the trading on the 15th. That's wonderful news. It's quite amazing that you guys have been able to do so much, really, on all of these logistics with the lockdown and everything else that's going on. But I'm sure there are still some things in the pipeline when people are able to travel, and you guys are able to sit down and meet and fly to places. So what's sort of in the pipeline on that side, Frank? If you could maybe just update us then fully, so to speak.
Yeah. Before I do so, relating to what you just said, of course, everything the corporate has done and one to another is all useless, without the leadership and key leadership on a regional basis, giving us the trust, giving us the time to do what we have managed to do. And it gives us also encouragement, because, when we announce things and we do things and, invest in these things, if on the other side, there's no effect, there's no positive effect in what you're doing and what you're giving, then, we can all go home. And I'd like to say thank you, and most of you are on this call, to the leadership. We've lost. Where I say we lost, it's normally a negative word, but not always. But we've had members, even leadership, who have decided to go to other pastures because the grass over there looks greener. And that's fine. You know, our industry, I've been in it so long, is a coming and going. At the end of the day, if one was earning what one was earning for the effort one's putting in, then why would you go? So, you know, everyone has their reasons. Some people want to take a long break and, you know, for no other reason that they've worked very hard for a few years and now take a break, which is what networking is about as well. You know, it can create a financial freedom for the rest of your life, or for 6 months, or for 2 years, whatever. So coming and going, but we've really got a core of leaders who've been with us, you know, through thick and thin. And, you know, it builds character for the company, but also builds character within the leadership. So I want to say thank you to all of you, you know, backing us, giving us the trust, and we will carry on delivering, and we're not going to promise anything that we cannot fulfill. So with that said, yeah, some of the things still open, Peter. I just reflect again on some of the things through Corona that haven't managed to get done is also within the payment solution. Yeah. I remember about 10 weeks ago, we did the first global online event, and I had a list of countries where Mountain Wolf would accept bank payments from, to load the Mountain Wolf, but also to withdraw funds from Mountain Wolf account to your bank account. And I had a list of countries throughout Europe, Middle East was there, 5-6 countries in South America, Latin America, 5-6 countries in Asia. That is all reliant on signing one piece of paper live. And I had the news actually this weekend, even though I'm talking practically every day with the gentleman, that they will be allowed to travel from the 15th of June on to where they need to go to sign the long agreed, worked out contracts and agreements. But the law demands the physical presence. And they tried to do it through the embassy and with lawyers and notaires, and it didn't work that way because everyone was Corona. But they anticipate from the 15th of June that they will be able to travel. And that being the case, I guess they're going to be on the first or the second flight if they are allowed to, because it's their business. It's their business, and they've invested so much money and time and energy into this, and it's the final key. So we're looking forward to that also happening. That opens up for us also a completely new elements of doing this and doing that. But believe me, it will not change the AML ruling. All right, so KYCs will also be needed there. Yes, I don't think we've been held up on anything we promised in Code Chang relating to enhancements and one thing another. But one thing we have been held up on is growth and momentum. And I think we all need to know that it's we. You know, the team is company and the team is the field. And we have been affected tremendously so in turnover, in being able to invest from corporate side of things. Also with socium development, it was held up because one was going to China to see this machine, one was going to Russia to see that machine, and one to another, and that couldn't happen. So, you know, there have been things have been affected, and even more so that we've managed to do, as I explained earlier. But our business, so much can be done in the internet, so much can be done using the Zooms and one to another. And I say, thank God that, you know, we've been able to do what we have, and we've had 2 extremely good weeks turnover-wise. But we need the events. Even on a one-on-one basis, people need to be able to meet each other and, you know, eye to eye and do things. And without a doubt, there's still a price that we all have to pay when it comes to growth and speed of growth and momentum. And one of the first things that's going to happen is that once we can start traveling again, and I say we, that's the leadership, that's everyone, I think we will see a tremendous jump, because by then we're going out with a ISF, a corporate-owned token, not a third party or anything else, a corporate-owned token, decentralized on a public exchange, working on the most transparent blockchain there is in the world. We have the first project up and running with its first machine, second machine, that will follow very, very quickly, etc., etc. We have everything in our hands with a proven concept. We have then the website from Socium Development. We have the website for the ISF, transparency here, transparency there, the payment solutions in and out. People can have their cards and this and that. I see an awesome boost, you know, like a rocket. We're still going like this at the moment, and we're very grateful, and we can be thankful that we as an industry and as a company even have growth in this time. Mind you, growth is relative. I mean, when you're so low, it's a lot easier to get growth, but we're doing okay. We're doing okay, and it encourages me and everyone else, this side of things, because you out there, you need to also have your income for your efforts. So it's very, very important. I think you'll see towards end of summer, going into autumn, that we'll be in a position to launch our new travel platform. It has some really nice aspects to it and concept to it, but I refuse to launch it at this time, because I think, honestly, it would be egg in our face. I mean, I cannot get, you know, the 6-month extension like we could on the other products because of the corona, the products we've been using since day one, and myself with this company for nearly 9 years. And I don't think we should start selling something where people can't use it. It's a difference whether I can't use it or I don't want to use it, you know? And I think we as a company, we don't need to do things that, you know, can slap us in the face. Why? And it's there. And we have the platform, we have the URL, a really cool, everything's done. But we're also looking at other products, digital products that we can deliver. And I think one of the goals moving forward as well is certainly to get more flexibility on selection of singular products, and selection then in different categories, financial categories of products. My goal for many years is to be in a company where we can have the possibility of offering people the opportunity to put their own packages together, the bundled packages. That the one says, well, I want a bit more of that, and I don't need that. And they can put the package together in a selection. Now, we won't be that far this year, but, you know, if I go into 2021, and I'll still be here, by the way, in 2021, is that that would be, for me, ideal. For me, in network marketing, global business, digital, stay away from the physical, but then to have a selection, be able to put your own packages together. I look at it as, you know, consumer agencies and this and that. I mean, that would be the perfect world, even though we're pretty good where we are right now.
Yeah. No, I'm happy to hear, Frank, that you're not considering another retirement, because somehow that doesn't seem to work out very well. So that's good to hear. But what I always, say to people, sometimes to maybe, qualify where we are, and also just to give a reality check as well. I mean, we're still, I believe, in a pioneer phase. I mean, you look at, this from the outside, and what we're doing, I often say, within the network marketing arena is revolutionary. I mean, who is doing something like this? There's some great products and services out there, through the network marketing industry, but nobody's, taking garbage and turning it into fuel. I mean, that's pretty crazy to start with. But also, it's reassuring, from what you're telling us, from corporate, that you're being very diligent and putting into place all the structures, the platform, the foundation that is needed for us to move forward as leaders and leadership, and grow new leadership, with confidence, because we know that the company has got our backs, and there's some, as you said, some great leadership emerging now, within the company. But as also, like as you said, as we move forward now out of the situation where people now will be able to travel, hopefully, I think we will see a real springboard of business shooting off in the summer, and then into the months September, October, November, that are traditionally very strong in our industry. So I just still think we're very much in a pioneer phase, but we've laid an incredible foundation since you came back and took over the reins in January. So from all of us in the field, I know that I speak for most people here who know the history, that you've done an amazing job, Frank, and we thank you for all the work that you put in. And yeah, you see the thumbs up there from Andre and other people. So absolutely. So we've almost been now on an hour, so the people have been very wonderful and participated. I see many people taking notes. Is there any final message, Frank, that you'd like to leave us with? Any thoughts or things that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, without a doubt, what we have is very, very unique. And, maybe if we didn't hit that bump and that wall, the overall concept and project in December, one could think maybe, we would be a little bit further along the road. Of course, with the PP5 issues, would have still created that dent. But I believe that the speed that we can progress this, not just from a project side of things, because of the new structure of doing that, but from the network, is that a tremendous amount of good came out from hitting that bump, giving us the opportunity to reestablish ourselves so much stronger as an overall concept in so many aspects moving forward. So we will certainly see the fruits of that. As a networker, and I put my network hat on, and I always will be a networker, I don't really like the corporate role, but on the other hand, I do know what is needed, and I know most of the time how to get there, but I'm very, very fortunate that I have people around me. It's great advice and experience, and creating a corporate atmosphere, all with one goal and one focus. And so it's never just one person. And we have to establish ourselves as a corporate that it cannot be reliant on just one individual or just two individuals with such a long-term project. And towards the end of this year, we will certainly be increasing management, executive management of the company in key areas, whether it's the chief financial officer, chief operation officer, et cetera, as we grow. So that's certainly for our future. But from the network, I just really request from everyone is, and a lot of you heard this from me before, is that we have such a great opportunity. Don't ruin it by trying to make it better or look better or sound better than what it is, because that backfires. We sell products and services of tremendous value. And if people would only see what they really have in their packages, what a Covo CCW really can do, what a Covo Media can do, you know, and leave the FLPs out of it, you know, just from a quick thought. You know, we really do have an awesome thing together. And of course, the FLPs make the whole thing better. But, you know, let's stick to, you know, the few roses we have, and let's not make a whole bouquet, because in that sponsor conversation, so many things backfire. And, you know, we get tickets coming in where my sponsor promised me that by the end of December 2019, my FLP/tokens would increase 800% on value. And so I asked, you know, where do you get this stuff from? Because the corporate never make that sort of statement. And we need to, you know, look after our baby here. Every one of us. We in corporate have to look after it. AML, as a burden it is, but it's looking after. And what is said out there really needs to be looked after without losing the power of what we have. It's so, so unique. But really point out to the people what those products and services are that they're actually buying. And of course the project, and of course the FLP, and of course the token. But put a little bit more emphasis. Some people don't even know that they even have products. It's this traditional networking and the sponsor conversation. And invest a few minutes in the new person, especially with payments and Mountain Wolf and this and that. Invest those 15 minutes, pay forward those 15 minutes and accompany that new person, making sure they don't make the mistakes that you probably made while you were doing that. And also, I really request that people understand support. You know, it's like this weekend, we had a lot of people who actually made transfers Friday evening to their Mountain Wolf account. And then on Saturday morning, complain, even saying they're so angry that it wasn't uploaded. But, you know, they're sent like at 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. You know, we even had one at 11:56 on Friday night, sending money to their Mountain Wolf account and complaining to us that it wasn't uploaded. Well, I'm sorry, you know, companies have office hours. And we, on a Friday, especially when a promotion is finishing, we are working till 10, 11 o'clock, but we can only do what we actually have ourselves. And if we're relying on a third party, we cannot demand, just because we are one of many clients they may have, that they have to have a staff sat there till midnight on a Friday because we as a client, we have a promotion running and it's finishing at 12 midnight. So a little bit more understanding is, to answer your question, Peter, would be awesome. And by the way, whenever people are sending funds in one to another, we don't need a ticket on CCW and the same ticket on Cloud Horizon. And we don't need a ticket with the reference number of your order. And we don't need a ticket showing us that you paid that order. Because we get like 5 tickets from one member for the one order he made, which we don't see anyway until Mountain Wolf have got their funds and actually send us information accordingly. So just a little bit more, the girls really work very consciously, you know, and do a tremendous job. And people don't realize it sometimes until they're involved with support from other companies. When they then realize what you then have. And mistakes are made, wrong answers are even given. But that's, you know, human nature, and we've got to have the opportunity to correct those mistakes in a good manner and in a good tone. And to finish on that particular point, bear in mind that they really try to do everything 100% correct. But when people start using the F word and BS and start really going at these girls, well, they then have that member will have a tough time, because you then get a reply from me. We all have to work together. We are a team, and I'm not going to allow our staff to be, you know, treated as if they were in the gutter. And sometimes that is happening. So leaders, members, you know, if you can convey that, you know, the support isn't that bad. They do a good job. There's some mistakes in that, but let's keep it all on a business level and not get personal. And some of the tickets coming in, some of the attachments, well, they sometimes belong on a porno site, seriously. So let's, if you can do that for us as a company, that would also be awesome to convey that message.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Frank, because those girls do a wonderful job. They're there. There's a human being on the other side of the line, and you know, they're there to help. They're there to support. They do their best, and we got to move forward together in all of this. No, thank you so much, Frank, for, you know, being with us, you know, today, and I hope that you'll join us again, you know, in a few weeks' time, because it's an ongoing process. You know, how we evolve the company, the information, getting updated. You've given us some amazing and some wonderful, you know, updates today. The subscription aspect on the Covo Media, that's a fantastic idea, because it creates, you know, true residual income from an existing product that is a repeat purchase. So I would encourage all the leaders to educate their groups about this aspect. And as we grow our organization, this will be very significant, obviously, moving forward. And also, you know, to the leadership, you know, as Frank says, take on board a lot of this information. And I hope that we can get a recording of this up very, very soon.
It's being recorded. Staffan is actually going to deal with that.
Super. And I would encourage everybody to go back and look at it again and make some notes, because I'm going to hear while Frank was speaking, but there are some really key, you know, points and information and deadlines. There's so much information that we've been given today. And, you know, take the time and also now connect with your own groups in your own languages. You know, as Frank says, it's such a difficult task, you know, to have videos sent out from the company, because we're dealing in multiple languages. This is where, you know, we as the leadership come into play in the different markets. So, you know, the people that are working in the marks, I'm looking at the faces here, Andrea, Vittorio, Jean-Luc, Petra, all the different, you know, languages that English may not be the most easy language for them to comprehend and process. So get this information on calls and share with them in your own native languages. This is our responsibility. And it's also about duplicating the correct habits and the correct information. And this is, today we have the correct information. So we now have the responsibility to share the correct information, not some, you know, hearsay or, you know, information that we make up the way we would like it to be. No, we got to duplicate the correct information. And, you know, everybody's done an amazing job in the field. Frank, you spoke about, you know, the leadership, and, you know, it's such a pleasure to work with some of these guys and, you know, have them on also the Top Gun Academy and learn, you know, from their experiences and their passion and their fervor. And I hope, you know, very soon, as you say, we'll be able to travel and we can come over to Thailand and have another celebration of, you know, the first project and, you know, everything else. And, you know, it's now, as you say, also just let's get this, you know, rolled out now. We've got a fantastic foundation. I feel that you guys from the corporate, you've done your job. You've put into place what we need to build and to move forward, you know, correctly with the way the world is, with compliance and everything else, that we know we have that stability. We know that the projects are being taken care of. We know that there's a professional backup there from the company. So it's our job now just to get out there and create the turnover and create, you know, the awareness in the media, with the Covo media packages. That's a phenomenal product. And also now we have, this is also something that I think has come out of the situation that we've been in as a positive. We've come together more with respect to doing these Zoom calls, because it's the way that we stay connected. It's the only way that we stay connected. And then moving forward, we will have this absolutely as a key element, a communication tool, sharing the business opportunity, but then it's going to be a combination of online and offline, and using both of these mediums. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I haven't worked so hard in the last 2-3 months as I've worked, because I've got to be somewhere at a certain time and doing presentations and just keeping that discipline, and keeping, you know, every Tuesday night, every Thursday night, every Saturday, every Sunday, and then of course all the other calls in between. So, you know, let's keep this discipline moving forward, everybody. And you've all done an amazing job. And, you know, Frank, just once again, you know, thank you from everybody on the call. And I always like to end these calls with everybody in the little windows. If you can maybe just switch on your camera, because we love to see the smiling faces in all of the windows. There we go. And just wave to everybody. It's our way of communicating. So it's wonderful to see all you guys. And we give Frank a big round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Frank. Great job. And as I say, we hope, you know, very soon to have you back on the call. So everybody, thank you for joining us, and go and enjoy, you know, in Europe, I think the sun is shining in most places, and a holiday weekend, every weekend seems like a holiday weekend now, but you'll see the terraces opening up again, people out having picnics, and, you know, just people are relaxing and getting, you know, gradually back to normal. So thank you so much, and all stay safe and look after each other. So thank you for joining us. And Frank, you take care, and we hope to see you very soon. Thank you so much.
It's no sweat.